the previous races have proved it's going to be fast out here. Here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's nowhere to hide for these athletes today, and that can be quite a daunting feeling, knowing that conditions are perfect, knowing you're on a fast course. It gives you nowhere to hide, and that takes a very strong athlete to be able to go and put it all out there and see how it goes today. But the setting is it's so lovely. The sun is setting. We've got some kind of orangey clouds above us. It is really, really exciting.
Yeah, Amelia Quirk also in this, second at the English National Cross Country Championships. Looking forward to seeing what she can do over 5K, 15:35 running her best. But she is starting to get back to that dominant level that we've seen from her in the past. I mean, she really is. So here we go then. These women, are they just edging forward? They're going to hear from Barnes. Holly Dixon there, you can see in the on jacket. I believe just going to get into race kit now. So last minute, couple strides as tensions build down on the start line.
Yeah, about 5 minutes until that race gets underway, and this is probably the most anxious point for these athletes. They've gone through the warm-up, they've gone through the motions. At this point, there is nothing left for them to do that's in their control. They've just got to wait. And that's where the anticipation builds, and that can be where races are won and lost. If an athlete can't focus at this point, if they can't get a handle on those nerves, they can really set themselves back as they move towards that start line. The athletes will be lining up very, very shortly for their briefing from Chris Barnes, the mastermind behind Podium. He's done a fantastic job today. Podium Festival 2, of course, this is. We started last year as Podium has grown so much over the last decade, and it has grown again in 2025. It's been an absolutely brilliant day so far, and this race is only going to make it better.
Yeah, well, double the entries have appeared over today. Last year, just 800 or so finishes, and we had well over 1,500 entries turn up today, and it's just been fantastic. You know, you mentioned earlier, Rosie, double the entries means double the crowd as well, to be honest with you. Everyone brings a friend or a family member. We've virtually got double the brands out here as well. Nike are in town this year, also on, so great to welcome them to Podium Festival. That village absolutely booming. A lot of athletes now will be on the beers after many PBs that we've seen, and they'll be soaking up these elite races to come. So here we go, just 2 or so minutes left, and that's eyes on Izzy Fry, someone that perhaps we haven't given enough airtime to, really, because she is probably the hot favorite in this one, given her performances on the track last summer. If she's anywhere near that form, she's going to dispatch of this field relatively comfortably. If she's at her very best over 5K, you would presume.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see just what form she is actually in. This is going to be the first time we've seen her properly in 2025, so it's going to be really, it's a guessing game for us at the minute. We know that if she is in form, she is the fastest in this field, hands down. But is she in that form? Is she able to put down a sub-15 minute clocking for us today? And it really will be something if she can. But that elite field, there they are, still on the start line. Photographers just getting their last few moments. And it won't be long now until we do get underway. They go just under 2 minutes to go, the clock ticking down.
Yeah, Poppy Craig McFeely there in the Herne Hill colours, 1:19. She'll be looking to obliterate her lifetime best of 16:54, an athlete capable of much more, representing Great Britain at the European Cross Country Championships, finishing up her final year at Cambridge University as well. Kai Malanga, far right of picture. Holly Dixon, Mia Waldman, another athlete to watch from St Mary's as well, Rosie, and she really has had a phenomenal winter campaign.
Yeah, she really has. It's been a breakthrough campaign for her, and we just hope that we can see her to continue some really strong form actually as we do move further through the season. She's had lots of injury struggles in the past, hopefully no more coming her way, but she has had a fantastic winter. Of course, 6th at the European Cross Country. She'll be looking to do something very fast here today.
Many names to look out for then. How is it going to go? Are we going to see a fast, aggressive start? Is it going to be a little cagey? A lot of these women, one thing we haven't mentioned, the elephant in the room, the prize money. £2,000 for the win, plus £1,000 for the British only prize money. You know, this is the English Road 5K Championships as well. So the winner of this race, unless it's Christina Ruiz or Georgie Grgec, is going to walk away with £3,000.
It's not a bad payday for one evening's work, really, is it, Matt? For what could be 15 minutes worth of running, 3K to take home is not bad going.
Exactly, that prize money paying all the way down to 5th, 6th, 7th, and possibly even 10th But yeah, 2,000 for the win, 1,000 for second, 500 for third. These women will have that on mind. I wonder how many of them are thinking about it at this moment. Here we go, the women's A-race, Podium Festival 2025. Good to see some athletes ignore the watch, Izzy Frye being one of them. Many want to analyse those splits post-race.
And off we go. It is great to see them ignore the watch. Like you say, Matt, we want the focus to be on the race here today. We want the minds to be locked in as these athletes make their way down. 150 metres, of course, from the start gantry to where the lap count begins at the finish. 5 laps of the track here at New College, Leicester. And Izzy Frye, centre of picture at the moment, looking very comfortable next to Amelia Quirk.
Amelia Quirk, Charlotte Dannett in there as well, another athlete who's performed over the cross-country this year, sort of getting back to her best, former UK Inter-Counties cross-country champion. So Frye and Quirk up at the front, perhaps where you'd expect them to see. Difficult position for Izzy Frye, because going into this, we mentioned she probably is the strong favourite. The likes of Katie Snowden, that 1,500 background, you're not going to see her up at the front for several laps, you know, not till that final kilometre. Verity Ockenden, a little bit of an unknown quantity coming into this. Is she back to her best? Can she challenge the likes of Frye? Big confidence boost. All these athletes will just key off of Izzy. So when she's up at the front, she's got to make sure she's in control and she's got a lot more gears to give.
Yeah, absolutely. She's got to make sure that she's placed sensibly. She can't allow herself to do too much of the work early on, because she knows that she is the one with a target on her back at the moment. So if she can keep herself placed nice and sensibly in those kind of top 3 or 4 positions, not let anyone get away from her, she stands a really good chance of stamping her authority on this race in the later stages.
Yeah, she does indeed, so we'll keep an eye on their lap splits. Several of the others just slotting into position. Ellie Wallace is another athlete to look out for, running well over 5 miles. Of course, no Innes Fitzgerald, no Megan Davies, so we have had a few dropouts. Sarah McDonald, another dropout, but Georgie Grgec, you just see her on the inside there in that Adidas singlet, just biding her time, tucking herself into this rather large lead pack at this stage.
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing more of a replica of the sea race from earlier on that stayed in a really nice pack for a long, long time. We had some quite nice tactics playing out, some really strong racing as we came in towards the end, and a very close finish in the final lap. Whereas in the men's B, just a few moments ago, we saw someone really take it on and string out the pack, ready for Mac Downey to take the win. So looks like a more tactical affair in this women's race. Of course, the athletes will be very, very aware of the prize money up for grabs, and that will be heavily contributing to them wanting to go for positions as opposed to times.
Absolutely, and of course there is a bonus for the course record, and you know, that 14:59 last year, it was a great race, wasn't it, between Nyaga and Anlay of Ethiopia. Anlay coming out on top on that occasion. The same in the men's race, Gebriwet coming. Ethiopian victory last year in both the men's and female races, but with this field and these conditions, you know what, had they have had pacemakers, could have been under threat. But I actually like the fact, you know, we're batting on about times. I like the fact that we're going to get a race here. I like the fact there's a little bit of jeopardy on the line between the likes of Frye, Ockenden, you've got Quirk in there, Dixon, Georgie Grgec, Snowden, these athletes that surely are going to start to announce themselves as they approach completion. Well, they're through completion of lap 1, but the official kind of lap 1, I presume, is 4 laps to run here as they come through that start gantry. Izzy Frye just relinquishing the lead a little bit. 3:06 for the lap. That's fairly slow for these women, given that it's you know, well under a kilometre, so they're probably operating 3:15-ish tempo. Modest. So we're going to get a race on our hands.
Yeah, and that's absolutely what we've been wanting to see. We saw it a little bit earlier on. It's exactly what Podium's set up for, to see some good, honest racing. And it looks like that is what is on the cards at the moment, as they do sweep round that long, gradual bend over to our right-hand side. The athletes make their way to the opposite side of the course. We mentioned it a little bit earlier on, but it's one of the reasons why Leicester is just so fast here at New College. There's no particular technicalities on this course. We've got long, sweeping turns, some nice straights, and virtually zero elevation. This is the fastest place to be at the moment.
Yeah, Charlotte Alexander was another athlete up leading the way in that front group for a period of time, but now it's pushed on. It really started to squeeze things. Now it's strung out almost instantly, hasn't it? They've gone through the lap, fairly pedestrian, then as soon as they've got round that top bend, they've really started to push the pace and it's thinned out.
Yeah, I think the leaders have looked at the split time and gone, we could probably do a little bit better than this. If I'm going to walk away with 3 grand today, let's make it a good, honest race. Let's not make it easy for anyone else to take it away from me. And who can blame them? That's exactly what we want to see. And now it looks like we're starting to have an honest race on our hands.
Yeah, we are indeed. Very, very good to see. Dina Alexandrova is another athlete in here. She's a sort of 16-minute runner, the Russian, but yeah, there you are. So leader just to the left of picture, but Fry, Ockenden, Quirk, I mean, these are the big hitters. They're definitely going to come to the fore in a sec. All they needed was someone just to instigate that first move. And Katie Snowden still in that lead pack. Good to see. So all the players are in there.
Yeah, absolutely. The big names that we expected to allow this race to play out and keep themselves in contention have done exactly that. I've got to say, Izzy Fry, sat in second at the moment, looks really comfortable, really happy where she is, and just is letting herself tick by. She'll have half an eye on that course record if she's in the shape that we hope she is.
Yeah, I think for Izzy Fry, this is a little bit of a challenge today because, you know, she is getting to the level now where she's world class. She can compete on the European stage. She holds her own. She's very, very strong over the 5,000 on the track. She's starting to master a really good finishing kick as well. But it's kind of what you can do in races like this. To truly kind of announce yourself, you've got to be able to dispatch your fields, you know, given when you come into races, the hot favourites. So I'm intrigued to see what she can do today. I mean, Rosie, there's a few rumours about her just trying out a few 10Ks over the next couple of weeks as well, building towards that track season, that spring season. So I wonder if she's got one eye on those European road running champs. Time will obviously tell. Now this is a much, much quicker lap. We're going to see that one under 3 minutes for these women. So yes, certainly moving up at the front now.
Yeah, we can just see Izzy Fry and Verity Ockenden trying to jostle for position a little bit. They're starting to get up on the leader and starting to really pick the pace up now. They'll be more and more aware of the time. Of course, they've got that lead car right in front of them. They can't escape the clock. There is nowhere to hide here at New College.
Yeah, and the athlete up at the front then, Emily Haggard-Kearney, the Northern Indoor Champion, over 3,000 meters, 9:15 lifetime best on her day. She's looking smooth enough, but 15:39 on the track and 15:42, so it shows you she is going to obliterate that if she can kind of keep this going. Ronan Kearney, her coach, the Northern Irish athlete, looking smooth, based in Merseyside now though, as she is the one doing all the work, and we did not see this coming.
No, it's definitely not an athlete we expect to see at the front, but I think the big hitters are quite happy to allow someone else to take on the workload at the moment. Izzy Fry really in a good position. I'm excited to see how this plays out for her, as I am Amelia Quirk, but it is great to see Emily Haggard-Kearney there.
Yeah, she's doing well, and I think Fry's just biding her time. A lot of the athletes just keen off her. Katie Snowden still hiding in there. Just recently signed with Nike for this next Olympic cycle, moving from Under Armour, of course, and she'll be off the Flagstaff soon to get in her sort of training camp to prepare for the outdoor season. She would have been disappointed with last year, obviously, that she had her reasons, but not going to Paris, and now bouncing back. Definitely LA is something that she can't miss, you know, so she's thinking ahead, she's thinking long term, and this is the start for her, really. So Snowden, you can see just behind Fry, right on the inside, hugging the rail around this top bend. I think Haggard-Kearney is on borrowed time up at the front.
Yeah, it looks like she's starting to just fade ever so slightly, but what a run it's been for her. Absolutely fantastic, and a great first half to her race here as we do approach the 9-minute mark in this. I've got to say, it looks to me like Izzy Fry's just waiting to almost be released. She's kind of like a coiled spring, ready to be sprung. Just biding her time, waiting for the kick. She's a smart racer, she's a fun racer to watch, and this is an exact kind of example of what we would like to see.
Yeah, you've just got to wait though, haven't you? You've just got to be patient out there, because, you know, if Fry does make that initial move, she's going to have 3 or 4 women go with her, and it needs to be distinct. It needs to be an assured sort of long run for home, just to really break things up, and then she can maybe settle, recover, and go again. So I'm interested to see her next move. It's a bit of a game of chess out there at the moment, at least for Izzy Fry. Imagine all the thoughts running through her head at the moment. What shall I do? She's probably a little bit frustrated. She's found herself at the front for all of this race so far. I know Haggard's been up there. Mia Wildman's hanging in there too, looking very smooth. Ockenden in pole position. I say pole, prime position. I correct myself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be really interesting now as Emily Haggard-Kearney does surrender the lead. She starts to move towards the back of that lead pack. Hopefully she can hold on for an absolutely blistering time and make her trip to Leicester worthwhile. But Fry now sat at the front. I think you're right, Matt. Maybe a little bit early for her to take the lead. She's going to be slightly frustrated at that. But sometimes you find yourself in these positions and you just have to go with it. And Fry is nothing but adaptable.
Yeah, I tell you what, India Weir is still in this pack as well. She's in the red. She ran 15:44 at the Podium Under Lights 5K a few weeks ago, and that was a mega run for her there. That was a big PB. She beat Lucy Jones on that occasion. Came out of nowhere as well. But now, what one race can do to you, clearly as confident as ever. She belongs in this field, and she's going to be rewarded if she keeps this sort of going. If she can hang with these women over the last lap or two, she's going to be rewarded with a big lifetime best. We will be approaching that bell lap the next time they come under that finish line gantry.
Yeah, we absolutely will, and that's when we're really going to see this race hot up. They're moving through the spectator tent now, and the crowds really are loving the race here. We can see the spectators are packed thickly around the athlete village. The brands that have been here today have been superb. We've had so many of the big hitters here, so many of the fastest shoes on the market ready to kind of broadcast why they are the ones for athletes to go for. And now in the elite races, we're seeing some of their athletes really take to the stage and showcase just the talent they have in their ranks.
This is why we don't want pacemakers. You know, we've got 4 or 5 women who are in contention with just over a kilometre to go in this 5K. It's English 5K Championships as well. Fry is doing a phenomenal job for me. Just keeps squeezing it. She's pushing it. This is Jakubesque from those European indoors, isn't it? I would love to have a track on their splits at this stage. Obviously, we haven't got that sort of feedback, just their lap splits. Ockenden now looks for the first time to be under threat. Oh, there we go. Fry perhaps just getting clipped from Snowden in behind, telling him to back off, give me space. You know, if they want to come by, they should at this stage, but they won't. You know, they won't want to come by until the final 20 or so meters. They're going to taunt Fry, mess with her a little bit over this last lap. And how she responds, how she copes with this, well, it's going to kind of define her season, I think.
Yeah, we just got to hope that that little knock didn't kind of knock Fry psychologically. It was a little bit of argy-bargy, a little bit of almost, where's your race etiquette? Give me that room, allow me the space. If you're going to make me lead, at least respect the space that I need for that. So it's going to be really interesting as they do come round now. They are still sat neatly in a pack of kind of 4 or 5 poised to strike now as they come towards that finish gantry one more time. The bell will come through on this lap.
Oh, this is fast. This is very fast at the moment as well. I think we're going to see 15-15, something in that ballpark. So a few PBs on the card. Snowden's lifetime best 15:23 from Barcelona a couple years ago. Grgec 15:20 as well. She, by the way, Georgie Grgec, who we haven't talked about too much, going for selection for the World Road Running Champs for New Zealand. They're qualifying at some stage this year. San Diego sort of giving up the reins of hosting it. It was due to be in October. Back to the race though, Rosie. Fry, Ockenden and Snowden. Quirk is hanging in there. You think Grgec and India Weir doing a fine job just to hold contact. That's what you've got to do. And then who knows what's going to happen at last 200.
Yeah, it looks to me like Fry's being a little bit beaten up there. She's being knocked side to side just as she comes round, and that's going to impact her as she does try and gain the momentum, gain the rhythm. She's doing all she can to hold on to the lead at the moment, but the athletes surrounding her really are just squeezing her and really not allowing her that space to kind of breathe. You can see her arms flailing out a little bit. She's twisting and she's turning slightly. We can definitely see that there has been a lift in pace and a lift in effort from Izzy Fry, but Ockenden and Snowden looking very comfortable either side of her and won't be too fussed that they've had to put that pressure on.
Yeah, look, Ockenden won in Armagh, didn't she? That was a bit of a sprint finish on that occasion, 9:05 for 3K. Katie Snowden, though, you've got to be looking at this thinking, oof, you know, she's someone you're putting your money on. That 3:56, 1,500 meter speed. You know, her and Fry in a matchup, surely you're looking at Snowden, but it's in a 5K, it's on the road, she's out of her normal territory. Fry, for the first time, under pressure, starting to relinquish the lead and being asked questions. She's had it rough up at the front, so can she hold on and respond, rally again?
Yeah, she certainly has, and I think now that she's started to drop off the pace, I dare say she's going to struggle to get back on it. I think Izzy Fry has had to work really hard after being beaten around a little bit in that final lap, and now it looks to me like Snowden is the stronger of the two. Ockenden working really, really hard, but Snowden striding round the second half of this lap. They're out in the back of the course. It's a slightly quieter area, and they'll be sweeping their way home very soon.
Oh, this is fine running from Snowden. Whether or not she's got enough in her to hold off Ockenden at this stage. She did compete indoors, a pretty modest 4:06. You know, she closed to shut down that indoor season pretty early. It's great to see her operate over 5K. She wants to get back to winning ways on the track. Challenge for those world teams, challenge for those world finals. Rosie, she's putting on a show.
She absolutely is, and now here she comes, Katie Snowden. An absolutely fantastic run. She's storming home. The tape is going to be hers. Ockenden's going to be second. A absolutely phenomenal finish and a fantastically timed final lap. Izzy Fry took on the work. Katie Snowden kept the pressure on and timed her kick to perfection as she really pushed on in the second half of that final loop.
Goodness me, India Wiz battered her PB once again. I make that sort of 15:30-ish mark. Great running from all of those women, to be honest with you, and that was off of a very, very slow early pace. Think about that first K. I had it roughly about 3:15-ish or slower for that first K, which means they've closed out incredibly fast. They've operated at 15-minute tempo for that last 4 kilometers.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic running, and to see them pick up the pace like that, it's not easy to run a progression run and to that intensity. It's absolutely superb pacing in a sense of 5Ks can be really hard if you batter it out too quickly, but that was not an easy way to race a time like that.
No, it wasn't at all, and look at them all come across. We're still going to get a whole host of them sub-17. I mean, this is super running. I make it 50 or 60 of them inside 16:30 already. And head over to Race Timing Solutions for your live results. But yeah, what a battle. That's what we came for, didn't we? We want to see head-to-head domestic racing. Superb.
Yeah, that is exactly what Podium is all about. We want to see that competitiveness. We want to see that kind of championship style racing, the tactics coming out. The times are second to the prize money, and that's exactly what we saw tonight.
We certainly did there. Bella Pickett coming across the line, just outside 17 for her. Good running from the Thames Hare and Hounds athlete as well. But there's been a lot of lifetime bests within that race. There certainly has. And, well, you have just witnessed that women's elite race, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for tuning in. Do stick around because we've got the elite men's race up next. And then, of course, that mixed mile to look forward to. Confirmation then on some of those results. Snowden 15:19, Ockenden, Grgec, Fry just holding off India Weir, just hanging in there. Amelia Quirk 15:31, Haggart Kearney, by the way, nice lifetime best for her. Holly Dixon, Parker Waldman, and what a field. Holly Weedor as well, Jones, Gatsby off the back of her good cross-country season. Tarver as well, just missing out.
Absolutely brilliant to see that many athletes going under the 16-minute mark. That is superb and just shows the quality that we do have attracted to the podium races. It's absolutely brilliant. Even there, the second page of results, we can see some really, really low 16-minute scores. It's absolutely fantastic running.